G'day guys, Jay Stewart here, dietitian, coach, and founder of Better Body Academy. Now, you're probably coming over here from either TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. And what we've done here is I wanted to put together a bit of a client case study. And the reason is because we've had a bunch of people message us, mostly on TikTok, asking for a little bit of information on how we actually work with our clients. They've seen the results and they don't quite understand how online coaching works. So I thought, you know what, I'll just give you a 15, 20-minute walkthrough with a client to show you exactly how that works. Now, if at the end of this you would like to apply to join our program, I'll pop a link in the comments or the body of the actual post. Depends on where you're watching this. So let's do this. So what I'm going to do is show you a walkthrough of a gentleman named Steve Byron. This guy is 40 years old, kids, so he's a dad, busy manager at work. So, you know, typically the same struggles that most guys have as he got bigger, as he got older, as the responsibilities grew. Obviously, what happened was the weight piled on because it was just tough trying to juggle everything all at once. And I think a lot of people, you know, blame themselves. They're very harsh on themselves. But what really we're trying to do is juggle so many things, and usually something gives way. It might be our relationship, might be our weight. And so Steve first came into Better Body Academy, and what I want to do is show you his journey, which is now just over a year long. I want to show you how he's gone and lost over 30 kilograms. And as you can see here, it's pretty impressive what he's done. If you look at the change here, particularly around the abdominal fat, he's gone from not being able to run to the shop to being able to literally be the most active dad you'll ever see. He's completely changed his hours at work. He's completely switched up his life. And it's as a consequence of getting his physical health in shape. And so what I want to do is first, now that you've seen the results, again, over 30 kilos, or for our US friends, that's approximately 75 pounds in just over a year. What I want to do is just first take you through our thought process and how we're very different to most people in this industry. Most personal trainers will just give you a training plan and just kick your ass. For me, I don't know about you guys, but that wouldn't work for me. I need to understand the model. I need to understand why I'm doing something, enable me to buy into why it's important. And so I want to walk you through this first, then we can take you through the steps that we actually did with Steve. So let's do that now. So you will see on your screen right now a Miro board. And so I've got this title up at the top: Change Your Body, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. And so for me, people that are in that point of which they're just waking up every morning and they're feeling like, oh man, is this it? That's really the trigger for wanting to do a physical transformation, right? You're sitting there and you're struggling and you're tired and you're low in energy and you want for things to be different. And so I kind of break it down into two phases. The start point is changing your body. And the reality is that's really quite easy to do, particularly if you're carrying a lot of fat, okay? The next step is changing your mind, which basically means changing the nervous system. That is quite hard. But if you manage to change your body and change your mind, you end up changing your life. You end up bringing more happiness, more freedom, and that's the ultimate goal, right? So let's zoom in a little bit here. I want to give you our basic model of coaching, how we approach things. I could go really detailed, but I don't want to do that. It'll bore you. What I want to do instead is just give you the basic pillars of our approach. So for me, the biggest problem that most people face is that they're time poor. They don't have enough, spare energy mentally and physically. So if we give you a really complicated plan, you're not going to do it. So what we do is we start by giving you a simple, sustainable plan that you can adopt and do for the rest of your life. Okay? Not just for the rest of the week. If it involves crazy restriction, crazy training sessions, it's just not going to last. So the first kind of base to our building is a simple plan. I think of it like building a house. You wouldn't go and build a house unless you first had a plan, right? Right. So we need a plan to build our base upon. Now, the second thing that we need is some support in implementing. So similar to this analogy of building a house, we need some help. Unless we're a builder ourselves and we could do all of the different trades ourselves, we're going to need some help. And that's where support comes in. We're going to talk about this a bit more in a moment. So think of it in two parts to the model. There is a simple plan that we provide, then give you the support to implement upon that plan. The plan itself is built on these 4 pillars, right? The 4 pillars that are necessary to change the body and change the mind. So in our base program, the initial part of working together, we would focus predominantly on nutrition and training because that is what's going to lead to you getting physical changes to your composition. Next, we're going to work on making sure that the habits that you've started, you have implemented for life, not just for the rest of the month or the rest of the year. This means creating a lifestyle and a mindset that is entrenched and embodied. Okay? Now you understand the model, let's go over to the program. So we break our program up into 2 basic phases: changing the body, changing the mind. The reality is these things don't operate in complete isolation, but it's easy to think of them this way so we have a goal. So firstly, again, let's go back to the simple plan and support to implement. So the simple plan at the start consists of 3 components: addressing your nutrition, helping you with daily activity, and then improving your resistance training or starting resistance training. Now let's go through why each of those 3 things is important. And whatever model that you're following, whether it's in Better Body Academy or you're doing something on your own, if you do not address these components in this order, you generally won't be successful. Now, I am a university qualified dietitian. Our way of thinking is that we need to give you some structure to your eating because most people are experts in food, they're not experts in nutrition. And so they think they're eating clean and healthy, but actually it's the calories that matter. So what we do is we give you to start a meal plan. This meal plan is delicious and filling as we gradually teach you about nutrition. I'm going to show you the meal plan shortly. The next thing that we want to do is, rather than focusing on trying to be really active in 1 hour of exercise each day, instead what we want to do is lift your overall daily activity. So when you're awake for the other 15 or 16 hours a day, how much are you actually moving around? Because that all adds up and it counts and it compounds. They over-focus on exercise. Okay, what we want to do is not have a sedentary life. If we do have a sedentary job, trying to work out ways to integrate activity into that is really important. Now, the final piece of the system that we call the trifecta here is resistance training. Now, a lot of you guys and girls are scared of getting in a gym. You don't have to get in a gym. You could do resistance training with body weight at home. You could do it with dumbbells at home. You could do it with bands, or you could get into a gym. It really doesn't matter. But the twofold reason that we include resistance training in our programming is because, number one, we need to get you strong, okay? Assuming you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s or beyond, you're going to want to retain strength as you get older, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to become old, brittle, and weak, which causes injury, instability, and eventually weight gain. So the first thing we want to maintain is your strength. The second thing we want to do is make sure that you are building a stronger metabolism, okay? The number one driver of metabolism is building more tone, more composition, more muscle relative to body fat. And so what we want to do is include resistance training in our plan. So we'll go into this in a bit more detail. So that is the simple plan. That's what we focus on in our base program, and it delivers some incredible results. Now let's talk about the support to implement piece. Remember, we go back to building our house. We need a plan with some pillars, and we need the support to implement. We could have the best house plan, the best design, but unless we actually do something about it, nothing happens. And it's the same in a transformation program. We have the plan here. Now we need to build it. We need to do the work. And we see this happening on 3 different levels. Personal accountability. This means you being responsible for yourself. At the end of the day, the best coaches in the world, the best programs in the world are useless unless you do the work. We have to implement. The second thing is that you become the product of the people that you hang around with. And so what we need is some peer accountability. Now, a lot of people shy away from this because they say, oh, I'm an introvert and I don't like the company of other people and all this type of thing. And I asked myself, well, how's that working for you? Most people left to diagnose and solve their own problems cannot do it. So trust me, peer accountability is, in my opinion, the most powerful form of accountability. And we'll show you what that looks like. Now, the third part to this is the top level, which is coach accountability. Actually having someone being able to steer you the right way to make sure that you understand what to do. There's a lot of people out there that are working really, really hard on the wrong thing and wondering why they're not getting results. They join our academy, they lose 20 kilos in 6 months, 3 to 6 months, and it's just from unlocking one part that they were doing wrong, such as they were eating clean. Eating clean does not work. We need to worry about the numbers when it comes to our nutrition. And so we've got a simple plan here and we've got the support to implement. Now, this is exactly what we did with Steve. We put him through this replicable system. Next up, once we changed his body, we started working on his mind, because what we want to do is make sure that whatever physical actions he's taken here to give him the results, he doesn't leave the program and end up putting the weight back on because he was just using his willpower. In other words, we want to make sure that this has become habit. This has become embodied. So we have a program where we change your mind. The goal here, we call it a mastermind program, is the same thing. We want to change the way you think. We want to change the way you act, which changes the way you live. It is a shift in your identity. And at the end of this program, what ends up happening is you start to feel empowered and you're really a new person. You're never going back to the old you. Again, the same levels of support, personal and accountability, super important. Peer accountability, which means being in a small group, meeting up for Zoom calls on a weekly basis and really getting deep in that. And then the third part is our coach accountability. And so weekly trainings, making sure that we can guide you through what can become quite complicated with the mindset stuff if you don't have a plan. So overall, this would represent a really good picture of how we are so successful in changing our clients' lives. For the ones that come in and they follow the simple plan and then get involved in the support mechanisms, this is what it looks like, and this is why we get such great results. So hopefully that is a really, really good representation of how everything works from a philosophical level. But now what I want to do is go in and talk a little bit more about what it looks like practically to give you a bit of an idea. Steve has lost 30 kilograms, and so I want to show you exactly how this has actually happened. So let's open up here our Better Body Academy app. Now, every one of our clients who joins our program will get access to this app, okay? The app is really important because it allows us to be able to basically put in plans in a non-paper fashion. You're able to jump in and we can create programs and you can work your way through different things. So what I'm going to do here is just show you the different programs that we have built for Steve over his time. Now, remember, Steve's been in the program for over a year and is still in the program. And so, we can start anywhere from a body weight style workout, which is simple, that can be done at home, right through to very elite high-end workouts where you're training 5 or 6 days a week if you feel that's right for you. Now, we will chop and change and alter the programs according to your individual needs. So let's go to a beginner program because this is where Steve really started. So he comes into his app, he presses start workout. He simply slides into the workout and it's all in here for him. There is a video for every exercise that he ever does, so he's never feeling lost, okay? He just watches the video to check it out. Now, the prescriptions are all inside the app and he just slides through and does whatever comes next. Does this make sense? And we build this according to your current experience level. Now, let's look at what it might look like for a gym-based program. So it could be something like this. This is a upper-lower style program that we built, Steve. Here we come in, we press start workout. we slide into the workout. Now, a little bit more advanced when you come into a gym, but I think for those of you that are confident in the gym, really good start point. As you can see, you've got all of the reps here prescribed out, the intensities that we want you to work at, the sets that you want to do, and a video for every exercise. Now, really good part is what happens here is, see this little graph underneath? This can track all of your previous lifting histories. So we can see here over time whether you are getting stronger in this specific lift. So this is super duper important. Okay, so we're talking about the trifecta here, the simple plan. Let's get out of here and let's talk about what is the best way to actually monitor daily activity. Well, we could do it in a bunch of different ways, but the way that we prefer to do it is through tracking our step count. And the reason is because how mobile you are through the day is reflected in how many steps that you actually take. So we would work with you to get you a goal and something like this, where you're just setting a goal and tracking daily and aiming to hit a minimum target per day. You see, this is really easy stuff, yet people think that fitness needs to be hard or weight loss is hard. Losing the weight's not the hard part. The hard part is in making sure that these habits are here to stay. Now, what I might do is jump ahead to talking about nutrition, because at the end of the day, a lot of you are simply going about this the wrong way, okay? You're working really hard in exercise. The problem is that you can never outrun your poor nutrition. And I'm going to tell you this, I've got qualifications in both. You need to focus on nutrition first. This does not mean that you need to starve yourself. It means that you need to have a nutrition plan that is built for you to be able to accommodate the foods that you like, to be able to substitute out the foods that you don't like, but most importantly, to allow you to go into a grocery store and choose foods, be able to read labels. And so there takes a bit of time to be able to do this. So what we would do is we would start you with a very simple meal plan. Now you can see this here. You would print it out. It's got day-to-day calorie allowances. Now I'm not going to kind of go in detail because it's just a meal plan, but super important. We usually see our clients losing somewhere from 5 to 10 kilograms in the first 4 to 5 weeks in our program, simply off the back of eating a little bit better. I mean, this unlocks everything. When we do our meal plans, they're provided with pictures, obviously quick tips, substitutions, and of course, preparation instructions, grocery guides. It's literally hold your hand. But the important thing here is that we do not want you to get over-consumed by the meal plan. If there's something on there you don't like, doesn't matter. We just swap it out again. Okay, does this make sense? So I'm now going to go in and show you a little bit about the component, which is the support and the accountability. Because let's come back to the model. Okay, let's come back to the model on our Miro board. So let me just flick over to that. Is it going to bring it up for me? Okay. Okay, so you can see it here on your screen again. We've talked about the simple plan. We've given you the practicals of the plan. But now what we want to talk about is this component over here, which is the accountability piece. Okay? The support accountability, the coach accountability, and the peer accountability. Doesn't matter which one of the programs it is. This is critical. So let's talk about personal accountability first. So in here, what you're seeing is the back end of the app. Okay, so I might show you the front end in a moment, but this is the back end of the app. What we like to do is a daily check-in of results. Okay, once you get moving. And so what we're looking here is for where are your calories, where's your protein, where's your steps, did you sleep? We're trying to control the things that we can control. Okay? On the front end, or rather the results side, you can see here weekly check-ins. Now, I can't make you do your check-ins. This is why it's critical. Now, when you look at how consistent Steve's been over such a long period of time, it's actually unbelievable. He started here at 121 kilograms and 130 centimeters around the waist. You look at where he is now, 88.5 kilograms and 93 centimeters around the waist, which is now considered a healthy weight. Let's look at all-time max, 33 kilograms down, 37 centimeters off the waist. His clothes are literally falling off him, and he's the strongest he's ever been. So personal accountability, you must be getting involved. You must be being accountable so that we can switch up your program if you need that. Now let's talk about peer accountability, because for me, this is one of the most important parts. This is our private Facebook community. Currently, there is 176 men in our program. We have a separate Facebook community for our women. We do that so that it becomes very vulnerable and you can share without feeling judged. Let's look through just the last few posts. I haven't actually looked at them, but you can see here that we're encouraging our people to post their wins, post when they're in the gym, post inside the group to make sure that we can help them and answer questions. And the whole goal here is that this isn't a bunch of people that are, Arnold Schwarzeneggers from around the world. This is everyday men and women sharing what they're doing, because if you don't have this peer level accountability and all you're getting is coach accountability, it feels a bit like a smack in the bum. What we want you to do is construct your own accountability. So if you ever leave our program, you are never going to be in the position where you don't know what to do. And so all of our guys here, this is all from yesterday, just getting involved, being part of it. So hopefully that clears things up a little bit. So it is really, really important that, if you're ready to start a transformation, you come in with this mindset that I don't want to be doing this for the goal here isn't like to lose some weight quickly as possible, but do it in a way that's not actually feasible or sustainable. Well, what's the point? I would prefer you to lose 5 or 10 kilos in 6 months and keep it off versus lose 20 to 30 kilos in 6 weeks and then put it all back on again, which is the start of a horrible relationship with food and weight, and actually has long-term consequences on our metabolism. As you can quite clearly see here, and I could literally flick over to literally a list of hundreds, thousands of men and women that have got very similar results to Steve. I mean, we could start to zoom in on these ones individually if you like. I mean, look at this. This is crazy, right? Look at these changes. 60-year-old man, crazy. Or someone like, let's say John, he's lost 35 kilograms. And I could literally tell you each one of these individual stories. What about this guy here? He came and he is the brother of a very famous rugby league player. His name's Shakai Mitchell. He lost 55 kilograms in our program. He's now playing professional rugby league. Each one of these people have a story. And this really for you could be the thing that you needed to see to show you proof in the model. So what I wanted to do is do a bit of a walkthrough to give you the hand holding. And if you feel like, I'm at that point where if I don't do something now, I'm kind of never going to do it, then I'll put an application link below of which you can submit some details. What we'll do next is have a look over your application. I'm looking for 2 things. I'm looking for clarity in you knowing what you want, because if you don't know what you want, then I'm not going to be able to help you towards it. The second thing that I'm looking for is really the reason why you want to do it, right? Because if unless there's a clear why in what you're driving towards, then it makes it really difficult for me to be able to keep you motivated. This kind of, we need some external motivation to get us started, but to keep us going, there's got to be some kind of drive as to why this is important. And for most men, it's something to do with either their kids or their own self-integrity. I want to look at myself in the mirror and feel good at the bloke that's looking back. The same thing for women. I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and feel like I'm proud, like I'm doing a good job. I don't want to have this constant battle with my self-image about how I'm not enough. So I'll love you and leave you there. Hopefully this has been helpful, guys. Again, link will be down below or above, wherever you're watching this. And of course, if you've got any questions, feel free to fire them through to me on either Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Cheers.